In this video, we're going to have a look at how we would approach the example that I left you in the previous video on travel allowance. So let's have a look how you would answer this type of question, or if you're working out someone's taxable income, how you would take the information to see how much of the travel allowance is included in their taxable income. Remember, the travel allowance is given for business purposes, and so any cost of business traveling will be used to reduce the allowance, and any leftover portion, unexpended portion, will be added to taxable income because that means it's been spent on private cost of traveling. So first of all, we know that the allowance received was 82,000 Rand, and we now need to calculate the cost of business travel. Now, a person will only be able to claim any cost of business travel if they've kept a logbook. So this taxpayer has kept a logbook, and in their logbook they've recorded 6,000 kilometers that are business kilometers. So what we need to do is how we're going to work out the cost per kilometer. Well, first of all, in this case, the taxpayer kept a record of their actual expenses. So we can add up those actual expenses to work out an actual cost per kilometer. First of all, there's a wear and tear allowance that the taxpayer is allowed to claim. It's the cost of the vehicle, including VAT, divided by 7 years. The Act gives us that we have to use 7 years for this calculation. So that gives us 51,369 Rand. Finance charges were given in the question as 12,413 Rand, and then the running costs 17,024 Rand. So that gives us a total cost of 80,806 Rand. If we divide that by the total kilometers that the vehicle traveled during the year, we see that the actual cost per kilometer is 3.848. Now the tables use 3 decimal places, so we can round it off to 3 decimal places. If the taxpayer didn't keep any actual costs, then they're allowed to use the tables to calculate a deemed cost. Where they have kept proof of actual costs, we can still use the tables and calculate a deemed cost and compare that deemed cost to the actual cost. Now, it's obviously more beneficial for the taxpayer the higher the cost per kilometer, because they're going to get to reduce their travel allowance more, and they're going to only have to include a smaller portion. So let's have a look for this taxpayer. What would the deemed cost per kilometer be? We use the determined value of the vehicle, and we go to the tables, and we see that the 359 falls in between the 340,000 Rand and the 425,000 Rand. And so we're going to read off the fixed cost, the fuel cost, and the maintenance cost from that level on the table. So first of all, the fixed cost, we're going to take from the table 112,443 Rand. And remember, it's a fixed cost over the total kilometers because we need to add together Rands per kilometer to be able to compare it to the cost per kilometer that we calculated in the previous part when we did the actual cost. So in this case, we take the 112,000 divided by 21,000 kilometers, and it gives us 5,354 Rand per kilometer. Then the table says that for fuel it's 1,335, and for maintenance it's 0,609. Now remember, for both fuel and maintenance, the table gave it to us in cents. To get it to rands, remember there's 100 cents in a rand, so you divide the cents by 100 to get it in rands so that we can add it all together. And that gives us a deemed cost per kilometer according to the tables of 7,298. Now we need to compare that to the actual cost, which we calculated to be 3,848. Obviously we're going to use the bigger one for the taxpayer, which is the 7,298. So we're going to use the deemed cost. So let's see how we apply that. We take the travel allowance received less the cost of business travel, which is 6,000 kilometers times by the 7,298, which gives us 43,788 Rand, and we reduce the travel allowance by that amount. which means that included in taxable income is 38,212. And that will be included in the taxable income.